finally I started doing that thing I've always wanted to do. Whether that was going to the gym, meditating, working on your side project, whatever it was. And you have been doing it for a few days now, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. On the 5th day, you find yourself back on YouTube watching random videos again. A few weeks pass you by and you're pissed off. Like, the last time I was serious with my grind was already like 2 weeks ago. I have to get back right on. So you get back to your grind, you're consistent again, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And after 3 days of being consistent, you find yourself back on TikTok scrolling again. Before you know, a month has gone by and you're like, how did this even happen? Like, you need to get back to this your grind right here, right now. You go again, you're very consistent, and about 5 days later, you find yourself again watching YouTube shorts. And before you know it, it's already been a year and you haven't done anything. So this was my life for the longest time, and in fact it's still kind of my life, but I've gotten significantly better at this. And I want to share a few things that I've learned along the way that have helped me progress on my journey and probably will help you too. First thing you can do to be more consistent is to find an accountability partner. So one day I was just chilling in my room, then a guy from my skateboard group called me and he told me, let's go and skate. And I was like, how can we go and skate? The rain is about to fall, it's already getting dark. He still insisted, like, let's go and skate. So I carried my board and I went out to go and meet him. And before I could even get to where it was, the rain started falling and it was very, very, very heavy. The small shelter thing I was hiding under, it even partly collapsed. Me and everybody that was hiding under that place, we all got wet. The rain lasted for about 1 hour, 30 minutes. By this time, everywhere was already dark, everywhere was flooded, everywhere was wet. And I just called him up like, yo, I can't do this again. Like, it doesn't make sense. Everywhere is wet, everywhere is dark. Like, how do you want to be skating under the rain? But he still insisted that I still come, that like it will not make sense that after all the trouble I've been through, we'll not like skate at all. So I still persisted. After waiting for him for like another 20-30 minutes, we eventually met up. He came with a friend of his as well. And even though everywhere was dark, everywhere was wet, you know, flooded, unideal, uncomfortable, like everything was just not good, we still skated and we still had fun. The reason why I tell that story is that if it were just me myself, there is no way I would have gone to skate that evening. But because somebody else was there, I was able to push through and do it. And that's the power of accountability. There are many things that if it's just you yourself, you are probably not going to do. So if you have somebody else by your side to keep you accountable, to call you up and, you know, put pressure on you, you're probably going to go and do that thing. And you might have this limiting belief in your head that, oh, you're supposed to work out alone, you're supposed to be like the lone wolf and everything. Oh, David Goggins is like used to work out alone and all that, which is kind of true. I'm not going to deny that.
They don't know me, son. Get it? 18. They don't know me, son.
But David Goggins is almost 50 years old at this point, and he has probably been on his self-improvement journey for like 20-25 years or something crazy like that. You are barely even 1 year into your journey and you are trying to compare yourself to David Goggins. Like, have some humility, bro. Like, you are not David Goggins. Many times we hear all these self-made millionaires say, oh, they made it all by themselves, nobody gave them, like, I'm not trying to say it's not possible, but the fact that you're watching a video like this means you are not that guy. It means you have probably tried doing this thing by yourself and it just hasn't really worked out for you. So why not try something new by getting an accountability partner, and if possible self, a mentor, just somebody to hold you accountable. I won't lie, in real life it's kind of hard to find accountability partner. Like, you look to your left, you look to your right, everybody around you is just weak and they are not ready to take their life seriously, which I don't understand. But that's why the internet exists. That's why there are online platforms. The two ways you can get accountability online: there is the paid route and there's the free route. For the paid route, you can find somebody that offers coaching like myself. Shameless plug, but I offer one-on-one coaching, so if you need help, you need accountability, click that link in the description and book a call with me. But other than that, there are other paid communities like Hamza's Adonis School. You can join Hamza's Adonis School, and there are many like-minded guys just like yourself that are trying to improve and trying to get better. Of course, these are like, you have to pay money for this and they could be quite expensive. But if you don't have money for that, there are many free platforms like Discord. Recently, I joined Discord, and I won't lie, like for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've not really been on Discord. But I've gotten back there and I'm trying to find somebody to connect with, so to just make this whole process easier. So obviously you don't really need an accountability partner to succeed on your journey, but it's going to make the whole process significantly better. So if you can just get somebody that is going to be by yourself, like, do it, whether that's paid, whether that's free. If you can even find a friend in real life, I think that's like the best option. Like, tell them to keep you accountable, to call you out when you're not working hard, to like tell you to get your ass up and go to the gym the days you don't feel like doing the work you're supposed to do. Second thing that will probably help you stay consistent is to find when you function best. About 2 months ago, I was, very, very serious on my grind. I was waking up like 5 a.m. I would go for a run. Then after that, I would run to like our sports complex here, do 100 push-ups. Get this straight, the sports complex is not even going to be open yet, like they are still closed. at the front of the gate there, I'll do 100 push-ups. Sometimes as I'm doing the 100 push-ups, the security guards will now come maybe when it's like 5:36, they will now open the gate and all that, and they'll just see some weird guy doing 100 push-ups there. Then after I'm done with the 100 push-ups, I'll carry my skateboard, skate back home. The reason why I was able to function that effectively or that crazily was because all the times I always go to run and do all those my crazy workouts is usually in the morning, because I just noticed I function best in the morning. So I want you to look at yourself and identify like when do you function best. Me personally is in the morning, but my elder brother, for example, he functions best at night. Once nights, like it's just like once the day gets dark, that's when his own powers just come out. Me personally, once the day gets dark, I'm already very tired, so I can't really do anything hard or stressful at that period. So find when you function best. Yours could be very early in the morning, like 5 a.m. Yours could be like, averagely in the morning, maybe like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Could be in the afternoon, could be in the evening, could be in the night. Study yourself. You know yourself better than everybody, so study yourself. Identify when you function best and use that to your advantage. The third thing that could help you be consistent on your journey is to tie the thing you're trying to be consistent at with a habit. So for example, like earlier, the workout stuff I was talking about, the habits there for me was waking up early. The day I woke up early, I probably worked out. The day I didn't wake up early, I probably did not work out. There was also a period of time I was trying to get consistent to listening to audiobooks. And that period, anytime I get into the bus, I always turn on audiobooks. Anytime I don't enter any bus, like I never listen to audiobooks. Or sometimes anytime I go on a walk, I will play audiobooks. Anytime if I don't go anywhere that day, that means I'm not listening to any audiobook. So this one is kind of tricky, but some of you already do this. Some of you, when you are eating, you can relate. As you're eating something, you play something on your phone and be watching. It's almost like if you don't eat, you don't watch something. Or if you don't watch something, you don't eat. So just find a way to tie what you're trying to be consistent at to a habit. Because habits can easily become automatic, and the more automatic the habit is, the more automatic the thing you're trying to get better on is as well. The fourth thing that can help you be consistent on your journey is to make your task as specific as possible. One mistake we usually used to do is to just make it vague. So for example, we just say like walk or just read, study. If you just make it vague like that, it's very easy to procrastinate and not do anything. Or worse, you do something but you're not going to do the most important task that is actually going to get you closer to the goal you want to achieve. So don't make it vague. Don't just say read or work out, or like try and make it as specific as possible. Say I will study by 12 p.m. today in the library at this particular place, the more specific you can make it, the more likely you are to do it. And the more vague it is, the more likely you are to procrastinate. Next thing you can do to help yourself be consistent on your journey is to go to environments that prevent you from procrastinating. Everybody knows Hamza. Shout out to Hamza, I'm a big fan. But Hamza has told his weed story many times, and he said how he was like addicted to weed and he couldn't stop smoking and all that. And no matter how many times he tried, he would throw the weed out or he would try to get rid of it, and he would just find himself like smoking the weed back again. And it was not until he actually moved out of his student's house he was living at the time to go and live back with his parents, like his addiction just like stopped instantly. I think the reason for that is the new environment he was in. It doesn't condone, or it's not associated with smoking and weed and all those stuff. So it was a lot easier for him to stay away from it in his parents' house than when he was living in his student's apartment or wherever he was living. As for my own story personally, there was a period that if I stay in my room, if I stay in my house, I'm not going to get work done that day. So I have to get up, I have to leave the house, I have to go to the library or to the cafe. Like I have to just leave the house. As long as I stay in that house, I'm not going to work, because my brain just associated house with rest and outside places with work. So you have to find environments that also motivate you, like help you stay consistent. Next thing that's going to help you stay consistent on your journey is to take care of your body. This one sounds like common sense, but think about it. Somebody that is sleep deprived, somebody that has been eating shit food for the last 2 weeks, somebody that has not gone out to exercise, someone that barely receives sunlight, like, do you think it's going to be easy for the person to be consistent? Somebody that spends all day scrolling on TikTok, that his attention span is just dead, do you think it will be easy for that person to stay consistent? Probably not. So you have to take care of your body. This is the basics: sleep, diet, exercise. The more you progress in these things, the more you do better. The more your body is rested, the better your brain will function. So these are the last three that are actually going to bring like the most results, that could actually help you be extremely consistent. So you might want to pay attention to these 3 points. The next thing that could help you stay consistent on your journey is to have a strong why. So we hear it every time: have a strong why, have a strong why. Well, like if you actually have a very strong reason, like a purpose, like something concrete as of the reason why you are doing this thing, it's a lot easier to stay consistent, trust me. I've experienced this before. Don't just say something generic like, oh, I want to help my family, or oh, I want to make a lot of money, or like, oh, I want to improve myself. Like, it has to feel real to you. You have to feel it to the core of your soul, to the bottom of your heart. Like, it has to feel very, very real. When that thing feels real and concrete, you are more likely to be consistent rather than procrastinate. At the time, back in 2020, I was extremely consistent. I was like working out every day and reading books and doing all these self-improvement habits. And at the time, I was very consistent for like 3, 4, 5 months. I was just zoned in like every single day without fail. Maybe not every single day, but like 80-90% of the time without fail. I was extremely consistent on this thing. And my strong reason for that time was I wanted to go back to school and not feel like a loser again. Like, I didn't want to go back to school and feel that shame I always used to feel. Feeling of being unwanted, that feeling of not being good enough. I didn't want to go back to school and feel all those feelings. So in my mind, the only way to get out of this was self-improvement, workouts, meditate, read books, do all those good habits. And I was extremely consistent. At the time, it meant a lot to me. Also in 2021, I did like a 40 days fast. I think I also documented it on this channel. If you go back to my early videos, you'll see it here. And at the time, it meant a lot to me because then I was feeling lost and confused in my life. And I was trying to find clarity. And in my head, the only way to get this clarity was to go on a 40 days fast, to eat once a day, every day, for 40 days. And I don't know if I found the clarity, but I'd say like that was another really a period in my life where I was extremely consistent. And the thing is that if I didn't have a very strong reason why, there's probably no way why I would have like put myself through that type of suffering. And the most recent one is last 2 months / last month. Like, I think I said it earlier, I was working out like a crazy person. Then also I was like extremely consistent on my YouTube channels, and like I was getting more serious with it. And the reason why I was extremely consistent on this one is because I was like preparing to quit school. When you are going to leave school and enter into the real world, at this point, like, you have to actually start grinding. You have to actually be serious. Like, there's no time to play. So when my mind recognized like this is a serious problem, if we don't do something, we're fucked, then it was all of a sudden very easy to stay consistent. These are just like my own personal reasons from my personal life, but you know yourself better than any other person in this world does. So you have to have a very strong reason, and the stronger the reason, the more likely you are to stay consistent. And all the things that prevent you from being consistent, they will easily fall off. Trust me, just have a very strong purpose, a very strong reason, a very strong why. Not just something generic, like something that you actually feel inside of you. The next one is your mental health. I think this one is kind of common sense, but if you are feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, like if your mental health is bad, of course it's going to be harder to stay consistent. Start meditating, fix your mental health. Stop spending all day on social media. Start meditating, start doing the right stuff. This is the last one that is probably going to make you stay consistent. Like, to me, this is like the biggest one. If you won't ignore every other thing on this list I've just said, and you focus on this one, like, this is probably going to be the thing that changes everything for you. The last thing that is going to help you stay consistent is improving your self-image. So recently I've been reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. I've read it before, but I'm just like listening to it again. And it just talks about self-image psychology. Self-image is basically just how you see yourself, who you think you are. Who you think you are is how you are going to act. Somebody that thinks he's a failure, somebody that thinks he can never succeed in his life, somebody that thinks he can never progress on anything. Give him every single opportunity to win, every single opportunity to progress, every single opportunity to make it, every single opportunity to become a success. And this guy is going to find a way to fuck it up and fail. The reason why is not because he's necessarily like bad and he's a failure, it's because he thinks he's a failure. Somebody that thinks he's the ugliest person in the world and girls can never get girls or whatever. Give this guy a makeover, give this guy a glow up, let him get jacked, let him like have every single thing, let him become the most attractive person in the world. This guy is still going to find a way to fuck it up and still believe that girls don't like him just because his self-image believes so. This one might be the hardest to change out of everything because it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, you have to go deep into yourself and start to change, like observe your beliefs, observe your identity, observe things inside your head that you probably don't really pay attention to normally. And you have to change yourself, maybe, because if you think you are a successful person, you are more likely to act like a successful person. If you think you are a consistent person, you are more likely to act like a consistent person. If you think you are a rich person, you are more likely to act like a rich person. So it's basically how you see yourself that the world responds to you. So I think this is like the most important one. If you don't even do any other thing on this list, and this is the only thing you focus on for like the next 6 months or 1 year, like your life is just going to change dramatically. So me, I'm personally still on this journey. Like, I'm still trying to figure out this whole self-image stuff out. So I'm reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. I'm trying to practice every single thing the book recommends I do. So I'm not trying to say like I'm the most consistent person in the world. Like sometimes I slack off for long and just like mess up and do random. Like I'm just not always on my grind. But from my self-improvement journey and everything, this is what I've kind of learned from myself. And I just feel like another last thing I'll quickly add is consistency is also a skill. Like discipline is also a skill. So the more you do these things, the more you level up and the more easier it is to become consistent. If you have never ever really been consistent in your entire life, don't think like the first month you're just going to work out every single day or work on your business or meditate, whatever you're trying to be consistent. I don't think it's just going to stick like that, because it's just like a skill. But the more you keep practicing, the more you keep going back to try again, the more you keep going back to try again, the inconsistency gap is going to keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And before you know it, maybe like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years later, 3 years, 5 years, like you're going to be so consistent that maybe it's like once in a while you just fall off or something.